Hey, you beautiful people. This is Miss Gloria with Our Lifestyle Today with Nighttime Storytime. It is September the 10th. It is technically Wednesday morning. It's about 1 a.m. in the morning. And I'm reaching out to those that are still night crawlers, still awake. And, we all are not 9-to-5ers. Some of us are retired. Some of us work different hours than others. So we have some night birds up. And then there are those that are going to listen to this video at another time during the daytime after I have recorded it, posted it, and put it up. So this is Miss Gloria. I've been called Miss Gloria for a long time, even when I was in my early 40s. My late husband and I opened up a business where we hired a bunch of people out to events, and I was Miss Gloria. I was the one that took care of paying them their salary for, I guess we were like a temp agency for working at these several events, and he was the person in charge of physically, telling people where to go, what to do, how to do things, like all management. And I was the money lady. I have so many beautiful memories of my work life. They say if you enjoy what you do when you're working, you don't have to work a day in your life. And those days when I was working doing things that I really loved, I do not classify them as working. I was just really, really enjoying my life. And it's funny because at the time I didn't realize that I was enjoying myself so much and making so many beautiful memories. And that's one of the beautiful things about getting older is having those memories go across your mind like a viewing movie screen, and you can see all the people that were there that played their parts in the movie of your life. And they're not there anymore. And I should say they're not here anymore, but those are wonderful times. I just tuned in tonight basically to talk a little bit about, relationships. Here's something, even after all these years, 6 decades on Earth, here's what I don't understand. How can you start out caring for someone, loving someone, acquiring feelings for them, and they falling for you, and the devotion that you both blend in and feel for each other, to wind up being the most hated of, hating each other and wanting to be as far away from each other as possible? How does that happen? And I know it happens gradually over time usually, but why can't we see any warnings before stuff like that get to a point where you would rather make a reservation and live on Pluto than be anywhere on this particular earth with that individual? Why would you rather go into a witness protection type program rather than ever see that person on earth again? Why do people actually say, if I never see you again, it'll be too soon? How do you want to even wind up like that? Like, is it worth even meeting people in the first place, knowing that the odds are very high that, and you can look at the statistics yourself, as I know the statistic, we're all living on earth having the same experience. We keep trying to find people to meet and fall in love with and share times with and share our lives with, all to wind up with tragic circumstances sometimes, many times, because of jealousy, misunderstandings, and bad chemistry in relationships, to wind up separated, divorced, anger, hatred, horror, terrorizing one another. Like, what is the point? And I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly, I'm not that type of person. I'm an extremely cheerful person. I'm the person that has lived through my mom's life being taken and being, how should I say, present in the circumstances when it occurred. I'm the person that my late husband suddenly fainted. Come to find out, he only had 3 days to live and had an aneurysm accompanied by leukemia. I'm that person who lived through all those things and other things, too tragic to mention. Things that happened to me and around me. People taking advantage of me as well. Men doing things they shouldn't do to children, living through that kind of nonsense. I'm that person, and I still am able to smile every day. I'm still able to keep my head up. I'm extremely aware of humans, of course. I am not as trusting and never will be as long as I breathe as I used to be. But at the same time, fortunately, I'm able to discern people and their energy and their spirits if they get anywhere within three feet of me at least. And that's a gift that I'm very blessed to have, thanks to God. It's a gift I actually prayed for because I wanted to make sure that certain things that happened to me and around me and in my life would never happen again. And I'm so blessed to have that gift. Not saying I won't ever get tricked or, again, anything like that, but saying the odds are really low that it will happen. Because the Bible says, watch as well as pray. I definitely follow that scripture to a T. So I'm back to my question. Why do people that you fall in love with, eventually the next thing you know, you're trying to pull the dagger out of your back? And of course, we know our arm can't reach back that far to pull anything out. One of my children is going through a horrific divorce. I guess what I should say is the divorce is quite peaceful, but she lived a horrific 12 years, and she lived it in silence. She's a really sweet young lady. I wish she would have told me some things before now, but she didn't. She was trying to solve and resolve the stuff herself. But the thing she told me is absolutely out of this world. The way that man treated her, I don't know what to say. Can you imagine being terrorized in your marriage? Sleep deprivation, being screamed at, not allowed to leave the room while you're being yelled at. And I'm talking about an adult. A man 6 feet, at least 6'3", and she's about 5 feet nothing. Unbelievable. To make matters worse, he's Caucasian and she's a person of color. And the reason why I say it worse, because the dynamics are layered very unfavorably. Why would you do something like that to the mother of your children? Why would you do something like that to a woman? Why would you do something like that to a 5 foot nothing little woman and you're a 6'3" man? Why would you do something like that to a woman as a person of color and you're totally Caucasian, even though that has nothing to do with anything, but we already know what that layered dynamic looks like? Why would you do something like that to the woman that's carrying a family financially, making a significant amount of money per year as a holder of a master's degree, and you come to find out didn't even have any job at all those years, being in charge of the finances, the direct deposit coming directly to his account. That's what she allowed. That was their agreement, so that he could take care of the family. Come to find out, he has a woman an hour away and, I don't know, ciphering the money in that direction. By the time the end of 2023 came to the end, my daughter's living in a place that's like a half rundown building, no food in the refrigerator. He started not coming home at all. Oh boy, no food. Him not home, the kids wondering where he is. When he did come home, yelling and screaming, and one of the last things he said to her before she said enough was he's telling her she needs to go ahead and try and figure out how to get another job. So she's sitting up there supporting the family. Come to find out at the end, when she busted him with regard to his affair that he was having, of course, he didn't even have a job. They were living off of her salary, but he wasn't paying any bills. They owed over $4,000 in rent. The telephones were getting ready to get cut off. The car payments had not been paid. Her car was getting ready to be repossessed. They had no car insurance. By this time, she had called me, and we live in different states, of course. And I was helping her interstate while getting her food, calling the food banks, and calling him to find out what's going on, and he wouldn't reply. She finally told me what was going on, and she decided to get out. That's one thing about me. I never interfere with my kids' marriages because I'm old school, and I believe that. I told them unless they getting, hurt, they had to figure it out and talk and figure it out, counseling, whatever. But unless they were getting hurt or something like that, which as it got to the point where she was almost getting ready to get physically hurt because he was demanding more and more of everything and giving nothing, of course, and shrieking, and and starting to push his body up against her, all kinds of insanity. And she called me and my sister, and I got him on the phone and gave him a piece of my mind that was not, I was outraged. I told him what exactly was going to happen to him. I threatened the law on him, and he immediately ceased and desist. And he was horrified, and he became afraid because she had been isolated. Ladies, do not let these people isolate you from your family. You may not want to talk to your mom or your dad or your preacher or whatever. You better have a friend or acquaintance. Do not allow yourself to be isolated from your family when you get in these relationships, because people that are narcissists will isolate you. And people don't do things to you. You know what I'm trying to say. You will wind up in that kind of circumstance, and they'll know you have nowhere to go. He even picked at her about not having anybody to reach out to. He said, I'm not going to wind up like you with nowhere to go talk to, But that's what he encouraged. And that's what had happened over the years. And I'm very proud of her. She got her own strength. And she took her bank account back, which is, of course, her power. And she got her money to start going directly to her with the help of, us, me and her aunt. Then she immediately moved out of that. She called it a roach motel. She got her kids out of there. They moved into a beautiful duplex somewhere. He kept coming back and forth. He wouldn't even help her move, wouldn't help the kids move, wouldn't move the kids' clothes, the bed, nothing. Just disappeared for a few days, came back, all his stuff was laying in the living room. He came. This man literally stayed in an empty house. After they shut the house down, he stayed in the house. Didn't have anywhere to go because he didn't have a job. Remember, she took her salary back. She made well-to-do. Remember, she has a master's degree. Long story short, he wandered up by the side of the road in a car, crying. with his belongings in them, because the person that he left her for, didn't want to be with her for, decided she changed her mind. So he lost his wife, his kids, his girlfriend, his place to live, lost everything. Called his mother. The mother had the nerve to call my daughter and say, "Oh, poo, this has happened to him. Can he come and say goodbye to his kids? He's going to have to come live in blah, 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 another state across the country." My daughter said no. Of course, everybody has their own opinion. But you know what? You didn't live it. You can't say nothing. She was terrorized. Pointed to her in the face, shouted at day in, day out about what a terrible person she was. She was a very quiet person. Very meek. Unfortunately, very soft. And when she said, "I'm sorry," he'd be like, "You ain't sorry." And she said, okay, I'm not sorry. Said, see, you're not sorry. I told you. It was horrible the way she described the fits. And of course, you reap what you sow. You get back what you give. He's across country now, sitting unemployed at his mother's house in the basement. Apparently the basement flooded recently. And the mother-in-law has some issues with the house. So he's not even in the basement anymore. We don't know where he's in the house somewhere. But he can't even send money for the kids. And it's been a year now. And he has been making cryptic comments trying to, figure out how to get her back. Did not apologize for anything. Did not apologize for any abuse, the terrorizing that he did to her. 12 years. And I said, my God, that's a lot of years. That's a lot of your youth. And I'm just told her I'm so glad she got out of it. And now, of course, she's in therapy. And she's going to have to figure out how to live with, the grief and let go of the anger of what he did. So I'm just sharing this to say, you start out getting married, you have children. Next thing you know, inch by inch, sometimes people change. They turn into somebody you wish you never knew. Got 2 beautiful kids out of that, though. Beautiful children. Thank God for my grandkids. So I tell her, be thankful for that. Something really, really beautiful came out of a horrendous, awful. I told her I ran out of adjectives to describe the atrocities that man did to her. The tracking, the tail. And she didn't do nothing. She didn't cheat. She didn't do anything. She just wanted to. She said, "Mom, I'm going to make my marriage work." And she tried. That last time she tried, he threw her chicken across the room and did some other crazy things. And that's when she said enough. And she said when she said enough, he was so happy. He's like, "Oh, okay. Okay." She said he looked like he took a deep breath and smiled and ran into the other room and started texting someone, which she believes was probably the lady friend. And in the end, the woman didn't even want him. After all of that, he wound up sitting in an abandoned house and on the side of the road in the car. So you can take what you want as the moral of this story. I just know, even at my age, how in the world are you going to know to trust someone? You don't know what's in the mind of someone when you meet them. You don't know what their end game is or their goal. This whole family is pretty messed up. It's from the mother on down. I can't even talk about the brothers, and I'm just not going to. It's pretty sad. The mother's daughter is not even speaking to her forever. The mother's husband is, I'm not even going to say what that's going on with that. I'm just not going to. Insane. You got to watch what family you're marrying to. You got to watch who people are. I tell you one thing, if I ever get with anyone again, which is probably unlikely, but if I do, background check. It got nothing to do with romance. Who are you? What have you been doing for the past your life? Who are your people? What's your criminal record background? No, you're not going to have any access to my finances. You know, I know too much, I've seen too much. This world is not Disney, and this is not a Hallmark commercial. This is real life. And you don't have to be cynical or bitter. But ladies, you have to be smart. Well, that's my ramble for tonight. I just really need to get that off my chest. It's all the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I didn't even exaggerate. I actually minimized it and left out tons and tons of details purposely so as not to cause any other problems besides the fact that I'm trying to make some points and, help somebody. This is Miss Gloria with Our Lifetime Today and Our Lifestyle Today with Nighttime Storytime. I hope you all have a wonderful night's sleep. Good night.